May 4th, 2024. What's up, boys and girls? Jim here, RC80. Yeah, Aeroscout. Nothing new here, but definitely new to the channel and new for me. This is my first time flying an airplane and first airplane on our channel, so feel free to point fingers and laugh. You recording? Yep. Okay. Not being sponsored by anybody. You see names on my t-shirt. Just checking to make sure that nothing's hitting any of the wires down here. Okay. And I had the motor on, so got our Altern on. We've got our Sky ID plugged in and running. We've got our numbers written on the bottom of the plane there. First time flying, this could be terrible.
Where is it? There it is. There it is. I don't know, I can't tell. Coming, I don't know. There you are. Oh, I think you hit something. At least it's upright.
Yeah, I didn't want to, I got it up there, I didn't want to come back, you know?
Any damage?
Yeah, a little scuffed up on the nose. Didn't want to come back, and so I had to switch it off of safe mode and turn it on to the intermediate mode, just so it would turn a little bit sharper. A little bit gusty out here. We've got some damage on the wings. Yeah, it's about a 5 or 10 millimeter, 5 to 10 mile per hour gust. I was going to say millimeter, mile per hour gust. So yeah, I got up over this way, and I didn't know which way I was facing. And it wasn't turning around, so I switched it into intermediate mode so it would turn a little bit sharper.
Looked like it was aiming that way when I could tell when I quick caught a glimpse of it.
Well, let's go back over to our runway, which is a long ways away here.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, there's the Jeep way out there.
We'll go back there. We'll try
Way over there.
our control surfaces.
One way is right over there behind the Jeep.
Everything's working. So, all right.
All right. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Right in front of me. Ah. Ah, there we are.
I think I need to push my battery back just a little bit.
Just gonna push his battery back a little bit to try and change the weight a little bit. Like I said, his wing is damaged. I'm gonna walk over there and see what we get here. Oops. Okay. Well, I see a little trunk taken out here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit.
A little bit of a scuff right
It's a little
there.
bit rashed up.
There's a couple little spots, but
yeah, might have to join that
overall,
club and that local club and take advantage of their water and grass field.
oh, I lost it. They got right in front of me.
Oh, it stalled. Just stalled out. Oh.
Oh man.
Yeah, it just stalled out there. That's crazy.
All right, here we are again.
It doesn't look any worse for wear.
Got some weeds dangling on it.
Doesn't look bad.
No, no worse.
No, not any worse. I mean, you got another, I don't know, looks, is that greener than what it was before? Did it take another whack in the same spot with the tree branch?
It might be. I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was green before.
Yeah, I don't either. Looks like it might have some
right there, I think, but
nose damage there.
could be. Right here?
Yeah, over here.
Oh yeah, yeah, the one back there, but
That's about it though. I don't see anything serious. Tail looks just fine.
everything's working. Well, let's whip it back up there and give it another try. Well, I had it on intermediate mode there. Probably need expert mode. Just need a little bit more throw with it. The wind kind of overtook it. It just seemed like it stalled and then just fell right out of the air. So
Right.
let's go back over here and we'll pause the camera and fire it back up over there.
Yeah, we got a nice field out here. There's a Jeep
Yeah, I'm gonna be
way over there.
moving further and further away from the camera. Next thing you know, we'll be getting it from the wood.
Right. Yeah, got a good breeze now. Hey, nice save. We are back at the scene of the accident here. Hood fell off. Nose cone. Gear protector. Woohoo.
Grass wedged in the wheel. Oh man. We're missing foam from our tire.
Oh wow, let's see.
Shredding that.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
We got dirt, debris wedged in the wheel. That might throw our balance off in the air.
Yeah, there's definitely
it was
some
in there,
chunks
man.
missing off of that. The wings
Okay.
don't look any worse for wear.
No. Well, let's put it in expert mode. I want more throw, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Which way's the wind blowing? Towards our face. Alright.
Almost feels like it's hitting behind us.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah. All right, that's good. Good one though. You're getting it up in the air and keeping it up there at least. Trainer plane.
Yeah, it's a good thing because it's getting beat up.
You can always get another wing for it.
There's a gust of wind right there.
Yeah, good one.
It's blowing this way.
Yeah, it is now. On the plus side, there aren't any other planes around.
Yeah, there's no other airplanes around.
Yeah.
Of any kind, really.
There's one way, way up there behind us.
However many thousand feet.
Right. I can't even see it with this.
Alright, I think we are free of wind here. We're going to go. Well,
Anywho.
we're going to go anyways.
It's up and down. Might as well hit the gas and throw it. I lost it. There we go.
Oh, it's close. Almost pegged the Jeep.
Whoa! That was right over my head.
How was that for up close and personal, Ian?
Right?
Oh, it's close. Almost pegged the Jeep.
Whoa! That was right over my head. That was awesome.
In front of you, man.
Oh, that was cool.
Like a foot away. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I was so close to hitting you.
Wow, it's upright. I know, it's really gusty.
This is fun.
It is.
Oh, what a good time. I wish it was a little bit less windy, but it's, you know. Oh, we got a little nose damage there. I'm going to have to use some of that foam to foam glue. We've got a little crack going on right here.
Oh, I see.
On the nose. I have to use Brian Phillips' idea. Thanks, Brian. Some foam to foam and a toothpick through there to kind of pin that together. Otherwise, she's good to go. Another flight. Just know. Battery cables over there.
Yeah, big prop to Brian Phillip RC's. His wife is his camera crew is
That was pretty good.
does really good because this is not easy to do.
We've got a piece already wedged in there. I think it was wedged in there like a toothpick already.
You know, we're in the grass.
Oh, we got some stuff on our tail.
A little bit.
Debris. It's a little windy. It's gusty. Yeah, just noticed that big crack right there. Hope the camera's going to tap and.
Oh, where we're going?
So yeah, another spot we need to glue together. He's blowing in our face. We got it on expert mode. We're an expert already. We've already crashed it a bunch of times.
Getting quite good at hand launching it.
Oh my God! Oh boy!
That thumped in pretty good.
I think the scale section might be broken.
Uh-oh.
Oh man!
Does not look good.
There's the canopy.
Oh, wow.
Get up on it.
Canopy's there. Plane's there. That's how far away it is.
Come on up and get closer on it. Look at that carnage.
Oh, wow. Well, here you go.
Here, hold on.
Holy cow.
Wow. Look at that, man.
Oh, wow.
Look at that crap.
Wow. Basically, you need a little more than glue to fix that.
Right. There's my ESC. There's the receiver. Oh, man.
There's a bit of foam laying around over here.
A bit of foam. I didn't bring a garbage bag. There's the motor. There's a motor hanging over there. I don't know, is it structurally sound still? I don't know if it's structurally sound anymore. Could use that on a boat, like a swamp boat kind of thing, maybe.
Well, that's it.
Good thing I charged all 3 batteries.
Right, that's it.
The ACS or whatever is still trying to correct over here, the autocorrect, so that's jacked up, man. Wow. Well, let's unplug it so we don't get a fire going on here. We still got 3 bars of battery life, so hey, good thing I charged up 3 batteries. Oh man, this thing is wasted. So you just got the canopy there, the hood. How'd that get turned back on? That's weird. Okay. Chunks of foam. That's my weight off my nose.
Foam,
yeah, the weight off the nose probably just blew it to pieces, helped drive it into the ground. Man, it's hammered poo, man. I need a whole new fuselage for this thing. Apparently the board that goes through the middle. Jeez, oh Pete's, man. Oh, what an impact. That thing's a mess.
Well, on a positive note, we get another one. You'll have a relatively intact spare wing, so
Right.
even the tail section's still good. So,
Well, yeah, that's
the
trash.
hardware inside between is probably solid.
That thing is trashed. Well, first run with the Aeroscout there, boys and girls. Great place to fly, just a little bit windy today. I guess I need a calmer wind. First flight experience. I should have got the real flight simulator. Extra $100, right, for the real flight simulator. I know it's kind of a drag to pull the trigger on something like that. But and then they get you with all the software and more stuff. You gotta like buy into it every year. With new updates and everything else. It's another cost. But I should have started out in that, or with the trainer. Somebody else hooked up on the controller. And once again, trainers are needed. But there we go. We crashed it a few times. I don't know how many times did we crash that.
Oh, I don't know.
Several. But you tell us, boys and girls. I guess we'll find out on editing. I'll put a number in here.
4 or 5 at least.
4 or 5 times. This last one was pretty hard. I mean, it came down. It was gusty. It just got driven into the ground, I think. I don't know. We'll check it out on camera. But it's definitely in bad shape. The only thing that's holding this on is the sticker. Yeah, lack of experience didn't help.
But that wouldn't help.
Yeah, the sticker is the only thing holding this piece together. We might be able to glue it back together with that foam to foam. See how good that foam to foam is. I mean, why not?
Why not try it?
If the end result is going to be sending it into ground and looking like this, then it's not a big deal. We've already did it once. I suppose we can do it again. Why not? All right, boys and girls, that is going to do it. We are a long ways from the Jeep, way over yonder there. We're going to have to storage charge all our batteries there and get them back down to a normal level. And start ordering some parts for the plane, or I don't know. We'll go from there. Crawler channel, first airplane to the channel. And you guys and gals seeing the outcome on that. It wasn't too bad for a minute. But, yeah, I definitely got the bug. I want to try it again. After action report. This is what we're looking at, boys and girls. A lot of damage here. A lot of carnage. Lots of carnage. All right, so what do we got here? Let's start off with the small stuff. Checking out our canopy. It needs to be re-glued right here. And across the back right here. I noticed this probably on the 4th crash or so, that the canopy wasn't sitting on there quite right anymore. I've got all our electronics unplugged. I've got our Sky ID sitting here, our little ferrite barrel sitting here, that's channel 2 going out to our ailerons, and our servos are all unplugged and labeled as well, channel 3 and channel 4, and where they go and what they go to and blah, 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 blah. So we know where everything goes. Damage, lots of damage. Nose ripped off the front of the plane, so other little bits of foam. I don't even know where some of the stuff even goes. But this is the top of our nose right there. That's going to have to get re-glued back on, obviously. Probably some toothpicks jammed in between to help hold it in place. A little bit of board here on the front. This came out of this section right here previously. And this was my line where to put the battery, or where to stop with the battery. So broke this off. And this stuff is really thin, boys and girls. I mean, this is like thinner than a popsicle stick. it seems very cheap. So missing a chunk right here on the front. Not too sure if that's going to matter or not. Nose wheel is kind of compromised. Not just because the board is broken, but the wheel, the foam is all just broken away around it, so that needs to be all glued back together. This whole board on the inside is trashed. It's broken right here, as well as all the way down, all the way down this side right here. I pushed it back together, but there's a hairline fracture that starts, let me see here, right here, and it goes all the way back past here. And so this all needs to be glued back together. It's just totally split in half. Once again, fuselage, pretty rallied. This needs to get glued back on to here. Our linkage going to, or the push rod, moving this around, very unprofessional. That push rod right there going to our front wheel was bent, so I had to straighten that out as well. But once again, that board under here is just, it's broken away under there, so that needs some glue or something on there to try to stiffen that up, I'd imagine. Or not, maybe we'll just tape it up and call it good. Glue the plane together and send it, you know? Why not? So all this stuff needs to get glued back together right there. And we'll try to glue it back together. Fuselage, it's $67, boys and girls. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not expensive. It's, you know, 67 bucks, you know. Another 67 bucks. So we're going to try to glue it together first. Motor completely ripped off the back here. I'm just kind of holding it on with my finger. But it's just dangling, so that needs to be glued back on as well. And then we need to try to glue this whole portion back onto the plane. And yeah, see if she's flight worthy after that. I've got the main wing sitting up behind my exhaust fan back there on the shelf, so it's okay at the moment. It's got a couple little dings and dents in it, but hey, it definitely looks, it doesn't look any worse than the plane does, that's for sure. So I'm pretty sure we can get some more uses out of that. But yeah, $67 for a fuselage. I think we're going to try to glue it at least once and get a couple more crashes out of it, hopefully. Hopefully we don't crash it anymore. But we got 7 crashes out of it. I guess that's not too bad for a foam plane, all in all. So we're going to try some of this foam-to-foam glue, and not being sponsored, but we're going to try that stuff right there. And start off in one spot or another. Maybe start off with our front wheel here and try to glue in around our front wheel and get this whole nose cone assembly re-glued together. And get this reattached over here. And then we'll move on to this portion and get that glued on. And then we'll glue our motor to this portion back here and get that kind of set in place. And then we'll take that whole section and glue it onto there. And hopefully, cross our fingers, be able to take this thing out for a flight on Sunday, tomorrow. Go from there. All right, boys and girls, there you go. There is our after action report looking at what is left of the Aeroscout here. S2. Blown to pieces. It's sitting on a workbench. We're ready for reassembly, hopefully, maybe. After action report continued. All right, boys and girls, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning right now. I started working on the plane at about 4 o'clock in the morning after I finished editing our flight video. And I figured, hey, why don't we start gluing it back together, and maybe it'll be ready by Sunday afternoon. Well, maybe not. Won't be ready by this afternoon. It'll probably be ready by tomorrow by the time the glue gets done drying. So went through a lot of this foam-to-foam glue, and not being sponsored by anybody, but maybe 2/3 of the tube to get this project done. And used a lot of toothpicks as well. Not that they have to be multicolored, but some multicolored toothpicks. And a couple of wooden shafts off of these cotton-tipped applicators. And a couple of longer wooden shafts off of some longer cotton-tipped applicators over yonder there to go through some of these longer areas. So what I did right here is I started off with some of our smaller pieces and gluing fractured pieces back together on them. So our nose cone here was ripped right off, and then I had a couple pieces that were kind of torn away from that. So I started gluing those pieces back together. And then I went over to this big panel right here, which was hanging off of our plane, and I glued this piece back on after repairing all the stuff on the inside, which was our main board here. Has a big long crack going down this one side next to the servo right over here. It goes all the way down to the end. Big, huge, long crack down that side, and just kind of, well, jammed it all back together and crossed my fingers, I guess. I have a little duct tape over on that side. I know it's not long for the world. I'm going to have to get a new fuselage ultimately, so it is what it is. This front little section of board is broken completely off. I just wedged it back in there after we're all said and done. And then glued it back together, essentially. So started gluing our nose piece back together. Started gluing this piece on right over here. So this had little pieces hanging off it, and I glued those pieces together and let it sit off to the side. Glued this piece back on and let it sit there. Took all our landing gear off of it to relieve some stress. Glued a section of our hood right across here, or our cowling, as well as up here on the cowling, as well as down there on the cowling. Kind of wraps around all that red marker there. Those little tears that needed to get glued back together. And it doesn't sit on there straight. Not by any means. Nowhere near as straight as it originally did. That's for darn sure. So we got all that stuff glued on, and then I glued the nose back in place and used several toothpicks to slide through in different areas to keep that held in place. Same thing with this panel here. It has toothpicks going this way, and toothpicks going this way, and toothpicks coming across the bottom, joining the two halves together. Down here, we see a yellow one there, and a blue one there, a green one there, as it's going straight down through to the other half of the chassis. So everything marked off down here is everything that we glued. Once again, we had a big split coming down through here that went around this wheel and over to the other side. Split all the way across up to here, split all the way across back to there. Just follow the red lines. All the red lines are splits in the foam. And it'll split all the way up the side, just held together by the Aeroscout sticker. Split all the way down there. And then this whole section back here, from the out, was all ripped off. So that's that whole one big back section that was ripped off, along with our motor that was ripped off separately from the rest of that. So while this stuff here, while this was gluing onto the fuselage, and while this was gluing onto the fuselage, I was gluing the motor portion onto this other big chunk of portion that was sitting off to the side. So I had her cowling and gluing, and I had this stuff gluing and that stuff gluing, and then that stuff was the motor was gluing onto that part. And then the last thing I did was glue the whole motor assembly and everything else back onto the plane, and then once again more toothpicks and whatnot jabbed through at various angles. One going through here, down into here, another one from up here going down in, a couple from back here coming down this way on either side. So there's one on each side. Probably not gonna be able to see them from this angle, but there's a couple little holes sticking up back there. Right, I can see them, but right here and on the other side over there, and those are coming down on an angle going from up here to down in this area. I know that doesn't very unprofessional, so I'm holding my camera all sideways and whatnot. You can see a green toothpick right there kind of sticking up a little bit. Red toothpick back here going down through this way. But yeah, so this baby has lots of Q-tips in it. Lots of little pinholes going through the bottom half of the fuselage on either side for those Q-tips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that side, and 1 or 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and several across the nose and around on the nose. So anyways, she's in bad shape, boys and girls, but she's back together. And we'll go for at least another flight. Not too sure how many crashes it'll take. We had 7 crashes on that last video, not including our 2 takeoff crashes. And our takeoffs were all bad. When I was trying to take off right from the runway there initially we had a tailwind. The wind was blowing behind us, and I didn't realize that. I wasn't thinking about it. And as soon as I went to accelerate, it just kind of pushed me into the tree. And then the second time I turned around and was coming where I thought was coming towards the wind, but at that point in time the wind shifted and was actually blowing at us sideways, and it blew it back into the same tree essentially when I was turning around and going back the other way. And then we decided to hand launch it from there. So I'll probably go back to hand launching. and go from there. Once again, I was not using the safe mode on this thing. I used safe mode initially, but it was too slow. The reaction time was too slow on our elevator, and the elevator wasn't moving far enough to really save the airplane. And forget about using the safe button. Forget about using that, because I mean, at the altitude that I was at, which was pretty darn low, that thing doesn't have time to recover. There's no way it's going to recover. It doesn't have enough time. There's not enough altitude for it to recover. So, yeah, that didn't work out so well. Ultimately, I thought it was better using it in intermediate mode and experience mode, giving me full throw on our ailerons and on our elevator and tail rudder, just because it gave me more control with the plane. Yeah, it was more apt to do weird, stronger movements, but I was able to correct things easier with having the ability to get more elevator out of it versus what you're very limited within in safe mode. So I wasn't liking safe mode too much, not very much at all. It seemed like by the time you try to turn the airplane around when it starts getting out of your sight, and you try to turn the airplane around and bring it back to you, the rudder doesn't turn far enough to bring it back fast. So it's taking this huge gradual turn as it's trying to come back to you, and that's just no good. So flipped it into experience mode. That way we could get some strong rudder action out of it and really bring it back fast. So yeah, I don't know about that beginner mode. I think that's kind of crappy, really, in all reality. It definitely didn't help me out, I can tell you that. There's no doubt about that. So, all right, so there we go, boys and girls. We got our plane back together. That's the moral of the story. She's all back together. Our wing is not looking so good. We've got some damage here on our wing where we hit some bushes originally, and then we hit a tree afterwards, right in the same darn spot. I think I'm going to take some clear box tape, some 2-inch wide box tape, and just run a bead across the face of the wing and fold it over, so it's wrapping around the wing like a big sticker on either side. And call it good on that. But yeah, we're good for another flight. She's all back together again. I don't have the landing gear on it yet because I'm waiting for the glue to dry. And I don't want to create any weird pressure points on the bottom of the chassis there, so we'll just leave it sitting as it is until it gets done drying. But hey, she's good to go. She's ready to rock and roll. We can slap her back together, and I'm sure we can at least get one more flight out of it. Not too sure how many crashes we'll get out of it, but we'll at least get another flight. If we're good and we can land it back on its wheels, then hey, we may get a couple flights out of it. But if it starts out just like we did the last time, then I'm in trouble. So there is a local flying club in my area, CAMPS, KAMPS, which is like a Kalkaska area model airplane association or club or something like that. So I got to contact those guys. I already drove past their home turf field and checked it out real quick and seen what it was all about. So I need to contact somebody over there and then maybe, get some advice and maybe have somebody plug in a training cord and be able to take over in case I lose control. So I tried it by myself solo, figured I could do it. I flew planes in Grand Theft Auto, I figured I had it down, because I was an ace pilot in GTA 5. But oh no, it doesn't apply to third person flying with a model airplane. That's for darn sure. FPV on an airplane would be a different story because, hey, then everything's line of sight, right? So it's a lot easier in first person view. The hardest part that I was having with flying the airplane was when the airplane got out of sight and you're trying to turn around and you were having trouble seeing the plane, and point of reference as to what direction it was going in was almost impossible at that point in time. So I didn't know if it was coming back at me or if it was going further away from me. Really sketchy. So that's where it's nice to have a trainer there to correct your goof ups and get the plane back in one piece. Otherwise, hey, all that hard-earned money might just be flying off in the wild blue yonder, and you'll never see it again, along with your battery and whatever else. So, yeah. And same thing with picking locations. Always make sure to pick a big, wide, open field for your first flight. That is for sure. I was talking to some other people about where I was going to fly my plane for the first time. I talked about flying it across the road from our house up here out on the main road, and there's a cemetery out there. I was talking about using the cemetery as a takeoff and a landing point, and then flying over another spot, a farm, And it's a good thing that I didn't, because I mean the plane would have been it would have been lost. It would have been in the woods or over in the farm, some guy's farm field. It would have been gone for sure. So I picked a nice big open field for my first flight, and it was a good thing that I did, and it was a good thing that I kept going back to the my starting point before I threw the plane into the air, because if I would have took off as I kept making my way further down the field, the next flight I would have taken, and the plane would have been gone. It would have been in the woods again. So I always want to pick a nice open field. So that's another thing about the clubs, is they always usually have a big open field. So that's nice. Anywho, there we go, boys and girls. First flight. I know you guys and gals don't care, right? Because you were all about crawlers here on my channel, so I know you guys don't give a crap about the airplane and whatnot. But there we go. First flight in the books. First crash in the books. Well, 7 crashes in the books. We totaled the plane. We just totaled the plane. Creamed it. And put it back together. So there we go. She's good to go for another flight. That's the moral of the story. All right, boys and girls, that is going to do it. Very much appreciated for y'all sticking around and watching the video. Questions and comments are always welcome. You know, once again, point your fingers and laugh all you want. I don't mind. First airplane experience. And she has definitely got some road rash on it. There's no doubt about it. I kind of like the red marker. Marking off all its scars. It looks cool. All right, boys and girls, that's going to do it. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.